And we're live. Oh my
And
God.
we're live.
Q, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
I need help, man. I need you to help me through this coronavirus thing
How's it
because
going?
I'm.
From the abroad.
It's oh my God, dude. I'm so bored. I'm bored out of my mind. Like, campus is closed down. The gyms are closed down. I literally have no need to go outside except just to get outside.
Have you been
So,
doing any exercise outside? That's what's been my saving grace.
so I've got a resistance band of my own.
All right.
So I've been doing some stuff indoors. But I guess I've been trying to tell myself to go for like, I don't know, a jog or something. But I don't know, getting the motivation to just go for a run is actually a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. So, I mean, there was what was it the other day? It was in our group chat when Johnny was like, "Does anybody have a pool?" And I literally was sitting right here at this table, looking out this window and seeing no clouds in the sky. I'm like, God, I know. So
It's
I
been
want to
really
go.
fucking nice weather too.
It has, and that's the
Like
worst part
low
about
80s,
it.
bro. Just enough heat to be like, oh, it's kind of hot outside,
Yeah.
but also just enough heat to where it's like, you know what? Let's go jump in the pool. I won't be
Ex-
super cold when I get out. Yeah.
yes, yes, and like our pool actually is open. I've seen some of people that live here go down there. But there's a couple of things. Number one, we lost our pool key somewhere. I don't know where it went. I have no idea.
Oh,
And
you
this isn't,
like you guys in the apartment lost the
yeah,
key.
yeah.
Okay.
Except this is a condo, it's not an apartment complex, so I can't just go down somewhere and get another key. I don't know how this works. Plus, it's my brother's place. I don't know how this
Plus,
works.
isn't the leasing office closed?
Well, there is no office because he bought the condo. It's so there's no
Oh, it's a
offices
condo.
around.
Oh
Yeah,
shit. Gotcha. I
yeah.
thought it was an apartment complex. That's my bad.
Yeah. No, no. So yeah, we just can't go anywhere and get a new key. And then on top of that, it's a kind of a quieter, older crowd in and around here. So I would want to go down there and blast some tunes and I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's how I roll when I go to the pool. So
Right.
what about you, man? What you been up to? What have you been doing?
Yeah, dude. I got off of my what seemed like a week vacation between quarters for grad school. I
Yeah.
yeah, it literally went by so fucking quick. I got an email and it's like, all right, classes start on Monday. And I was like, I had that feeling of anxiety of are you already? What the fuck? Like I thought I was gonna be kicking it for a month, but clearly I wasn't.
Yeah.
So just started that new quarter. That's going good. And then I, because of this quarantine, as well as, challenging myself, um, I've decided to try and get on. I've decided to work on getting onto a routine. So like
Right.
creating a daily routine, like literally from the start when I wake up all the way till I go to bed, and really
Yeah.
abiding by that because I have had a really tough time sticking to routines,
Yeah.
and it's this constant cycle within myself of, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, like, for example, we'll say, all right, I'm gonna get up every morning, go for a run, right?
Yeah.
First couple days, we're fucking solid. Oh, this is easy money, right? But as soon as I get that, as soon as my brain gets that satisfaction of like, we already did it, good job, it's like,
Right.
stop, right?
Yeah.
So, and then it'll like be like a month goes by or whatever, and then okay, we got to get back to this. Get on to getting up every morning, doing a run every morning. Days goes
Yeah.
by, did it,
Yeah.
brain gets all happy, and then it falls off again. So
Exactly.
that is, I think that has been a really big foundational thing for me in regards to, because I'm a very driven person. I want nicer things in life. I want like I want to be financially comfortable. I want to
Sure.
have like a solid job. I want to have a nice ass fucking house to come back to. Like I want the 15-foot kitchen island type deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
There you
in
go.
order, I want to get all these things, but
Yeah.
I can't. I'm really having a tough time managing myself, and so I think this is a really good challenge for me to continuously stick by this daily routine that I've given myself, which is a lot harder said, a lot harder done than it is said.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
yeah,
I
man, and
feel that
it's yeah,
because I freaking uh so a lot of my homework that I have to do is reading. Like and that's what I had to do last week because when we started this online, well, see, you're doing yours online, right? You're getting your master's
Yep.
online.
Hmm.
So you're kind of already in that. I mean, I'm just right used to going to class. I enjoy doing that. I feel like I'm more engaged doing that. And now once we got this cold, like, switch to online, those first like week and a half, 2 weeks, I was getting so flustered because I was thinking to myself, like, did I miss an assignment? I don't even know what I'm supposed to do right now because I'm
Damn.
at home. And mentally, because I'm at home, I'm not doing anything.
Right, because
Because
you're like home is like that chill mode, right?
exactly, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm in chill mode. So last week, I literally had to sit down on a piece of paper. I wrote out every single assignment that I was going to need to do for the week.
Hmm.
And so I was like, all right, let's just knock this out. Because that's just how I am. I like to get, I don't like to have things lingering. I don't like to have,
Hate that feeling, man.
yeah, that
Hate
just,
that like that, but just that cloud of like I have other shit that I need to do, so I can't enjoy what I'm doing right now.
exactly.
I've experienced that.
Down to the wire kind of thing. I hate that. I want it done prior to. I don't want to sit there and like, okay, it's due Sunday night, so here I am at 10:30, 11, trying to knock this thing. I won't do that. I refuse to do that. So I found myself last week. I was done with homework by Wednesday,
Oh
and
shit,
so
dude.
I was like,
There's fucking stuff, man.
now what do I do? So, and by that time, I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm done. I felt accomplished. So, yeah, like Thursday, Friday, I'm sleeping in. I'm like, ah. So now I actually, that's the thing too, is even though I have no need to wake up early, I try to actually set an alarm and actually just wake up,
Nice, bro.
right? And
That's
actually
tough.
just yes,
That's fucking tough. Yeah.
exactly. It is because there were so many days where I was doing homework and I was getting done like later in the afternoon and everything, and I'm like, I don't like this. By the time noon rolls around, I'm like, I have hardly done anything yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I
that was
do.
the one thing was trying to, like you were saying, a routine because we had like a little group meeting on Zoom for one of my classes today, and my buddy was saying the same thing. He was having this issue with a routine. You know what I mean? Like he said he would be up at like 2 in the morning. He's like, I don't even know. I've got nothing to. Let me just start watching a movie now. You know.
Right.
So this whole mentality of just being inside is just driving me nuts, especially
I,
knowing that I can go outside because it's not
right.
100 degrees. So
Right, dude. Right. When you were saying about your experience with like the routine and stuff, what I was thinking about was how, especially with going to school and stuff like that, school kind of gives you a structure already. It
sure,
lays it out for you.
yeah,
Therefore, you don't really have to create the routine yourself. You don't have to be
hmm
autonomous with that because you're like, oh shit, today's Tuesday. All right, I got wake up at 11 or I got class at 11. So, and then I got
hmm
classes all the way until 4. So, okay, everything's already scheduled out for me. But once it's not, you're kind of lost, right?
yeah,
Your
yeah.
natural resort is to just be like, I don't have shit to do. I don't have to hold myself accountable. There's nothing else to do. All right, well, what the fuck? What do I need to do, right? And like
You
you've
were
even
you.
experienced that, just
hmm
100%, dude. And that's what I fucking learned, and especially with grad school too, because I've been going to grad school for 3 quarters now, which is like 33 weeks, because there are
hmm
11 weeks each quarter, right?
Yeah.
And that struggle of waking up and going to school at your house, that is that's a battle within itself
I
because
know,
like you were
right?
saying, in fucking chill mode, dude.
hmm
So this routine for me, I really do think it's a really good way to get a little bit more autonomous within myself because that's something that lacks without the structure. Sure, I have school and class and all this due dates and all this shit like that, right? But I'm
Right.
not physically having to show up to class. Other than
hmm
we have like live class sessions and like, okay, fuck, now I have the time block, but
hmm
it's it's definitely something, definitely a challenge because creating that routine for yourself, it and the experience that I've had with it is like that sense of satisfaction when I create the or like that sense of accomplishment when I create the steps throughout the entire day and knock all those steps out. I'm like, okay, I did something today. I did all the things that made me
Right.
happy. I did all the things that, and same thing when you go to school, you're like, fuck, knock it out, knock it out, knock it out, knock it out. boom, day's done. Finally sit down on the couch and it feels more relaxing. Right?
Exactly.
Because you got shit
Yeah.
done.
And I'm getting into this weird mode that I get into. I gotten into like during the summertime, when I'm just kind of when I don't have school. I get into like this weird mode, and I'm feeling it now where I'll be at home and I'm finding hard motivation to really just to get up and do anything
Mm-hmm.
because of this hermit life that we've been leading for the last few weeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know, just to, like when you texted me the other day, and I told you that I was on top of Camelback Mountain.
Yeah.
That in of itself was like pulling teeth just to go do. I was like, oh. But I wasn't doing anything with my life. Like I literally wasn't. My life was at zero. You know, I was just coasting. So there was no reason for me not to go do it. So I went to. So I just decided, all right, you know what, screw it, I'm going. So I drove up there, and the Echo Canyon Trail was open, but the parking was already full, and it was cut in half. So I was like, crap, all right. Well, I'll go over the Cholla Trail. So I go over there, I find the parking, but then I find out that the trail was closed. I was like, all right, well, I guess this just isn't my day. And it was a great day to be outside. So I drove back down towards like the 202 and the 143 area, right down like where like McDowell is and everything.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. And there was a car wash there, and I was like, well, I'm going to wash my car. Let me wash my car. And, well, the car wash was broken. So I was like, I can't even wash my car. So with that drive down there and with the disappointment of not being able to wash my car and that news, I just told myself, I was like, you know what, dude, you've got nothing else to do today. So I drove back up to the Cholla Trail parking, and I parked there. And that walk from Cholla Trail over to the Echo Canyon Trail was 3 miles. 3 miles. I Google mapped it because I wanted to know how far I was walking. I was like, all right, I'm walking.
It's a good drive, dude. Yeah, it's a good walk.
That's
and
a good walk.
It's a little hilly too.
Well, if you
because I know a lot of bicyclists or cyclists go up and down that road a lot. If it's the road that I'm thinking of.
No, not that one. So this one was like on the north side of the mountain, so it was actually really flat. It wasn't bad. Okay. So all it was so I didn't go on the actual trail. All I did was take the roads. Well, I can't remember the name of that road, but I'm essentially walking through Paradise Valley is what I'm doing.
I think it's Lincoln. Is it Lincoln that goes by?
Yeah, that's it, Lincoln.
Right.
That's it. So I just basically take Lincoln all the way down to where the Echo Canyon Trail is, and that's 3 miles. Took me, I want to say, a little more than an hour. I was on the phone. I called somebody. I called a couple people. I was like, I've got nothing to do. Help me. Keep me company. So once I got there, I was like, all right, now the real fun begins. And I hiked that. It's like a good 1.5 miles up that, I believe, remember correctly. So
it's a challenge to get up there, dude. I underestimated it.
Yeah. I wasn't quite sure. I did it. I think the first week of the quarantine, I did it just because I was bored. I was like, all right, let's just go do this. And yeah, I was like, wow, these people weren't kidding. This actually sucks.
It's super hilly and it's really rocky too, man. Like me and Samara, when we hiked it, she said it's a challenge. I'm like, okay, I plan on running this trail. Okay, so just you don't know what you're talking about, right? So I've never been on the trail, but she has a couple of times, so naturally I know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly.
And when we were hiking up there, it's not hiking. You're literally bouldering a little bit of your way up the mountain, and it's all incline, and it's semi loose, not super loose, but if anything, there's just a lot of rocks to hike up over, like kind of like bouldery way over the top of it. So it's definitely a fucking challenge, man, for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I know the first time I did it, I looked up, like there's a couple of parts where you're at this bottom of this decline and you're looking up it. You're like,
yeah,
I have to climb that?
They got fucking handrails there. That's how steep that shit is.
Yeah. I know. I was coming down that day. There was a lady and her just her little guy with him. He couldn't have been more than 3 years old, just a little guy. And they were at that part, that slick part with the rails. And this little guy, man, said, "Screw that! I'm not using these rails." And he just started climbing up all fours. And I just stopped at the top and just watched him. I was like,
Watching
"No
that,
way!"
watching that fucking chimp just make its way up that mountain.
Yes, exactly. And I even asked him. I was like, "Hey, little man, you got that? You sure?" And Mom was right there helping. Just had his back. And he made it, man. He made it. He got it all the way up. Didn't really, like I said, Mom had his back just in case, but he made it up all on his own. I was like, bro, I'm motivated now, just watching that little
Right.
kid. But yeah, man, I did that. I want
Did
to
you
say it
learn
was
anything about yourself on that hike?
well, I did actually. I learned that when I really have nothing to do, and when I motivate myself, I can walk 3 miles, hike another mile and a half, then come down a mile and a half and walk another three. So there's more than what I can do than I really want to lead on. Like a lot of times, sometimes
Right.
we tell ourselves, "Oh, I can't do that." Well, you don't know until you try. So go ahead and try. And if you can't do it, then hey, now you know you can't do it. Um, I will say this, and this is I told you afterwards. My feet hurt really bad.
Yeah, because you weren't wearing proper footwear, right?
No, I did. I had closed-toed shoes. They weren't running shoes. They probably weren't. They're not exactly hiking shoes, but they had a thick sole. Um, I don't know. They're Nikes, so they might not have been the best, but they weren't.
Mm.
They weren't casual. No, nothing like that. Um, but I mean, it was God, almost 9 miles on my feet. So, but
Untrained, just spur of the moment. Like, all right, let's go fucking walk nine
yes,
miles.
exactly, yeah. But I hung out at the top of that mountain though for I want to say almost an hour. I just sat there
It's a
and just
fucking pretty view, man.
it
The
was beautiful.
My experience when I was up there, I realized that I felt closer to the sky. That's one thing that I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of a little bit out there anyways, but when I was when I always look into shit. Anyways, when I was at the top of the mountain, dude, I was looking up at the sky. I'm like, I feel closer to the sky right now. I think this is really fuck. I was very fascinated by that. That was one of the first things
Yeah.
that I connected with when I was up there. Yeah. And
Yeah.
damn sure I found the rock that was the tallest of all the rocks and stood on top of it.
Oh,
And in my
absolutely, man.
mind, with my hero complex that I have, I was like, I'm fucking king.
Oh man, I can
What
see
were
that. I
you
can
doing
totally.
up there for an hour, man?
Just chilling, man, taking everything in. I got my phone out. I started playing some tunes. I didn't have a beach, but I played beach music because I just felt the need. So
Nice, dude.
just kind of hanging out, just looking out and everything. Looking out at the East Valley, looking down south, looking up north, looking at Paradise Valley and all this. I watched a plane land at Sky Harbor. That was pretty interesting.
That's
Um,
cool, man.
they you're in the plane and you just feel the speed of it, but when you're a few miles away on top of a little mountain watching it, I was just, like, after a while I was watching it and I was like, okay, you need to hurry up because my eyes hurt because there there was a point where it was above the city on the horizon. It was easy to spot because the sun was reflecting off of it really easy.
Right, right.
But then once it got down below the horizon, like amongst the city and everything, it was hard to keep track of. So I was like, okay, no, I still see it, but I know if I blink and I look away, I'm gonna lose it. So I was just keeping my eye on it, and I just watched it all the way. And once it landed, I was like, God, that was actually hard.
Right. Dude, I
So,
did that at Papago. I've hiked at
oh,
Papago and got on top of one of those mountains because it's a little bit closer to the airport,
it is,
and
yeah.
it's really interesting to see the plane's descent, especially when you're not like looking behind it, you're parallel with it, so you're
Right.
watching it come in from the sky all the way down, all the way
Yeah, man.
down. It almost looks like a submarine in the ocean. like
Oh, okay.
descending, just
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
falling down shortly and very, very slowly and
It was
systematically. It's
slow.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, bro,
exactly.
it looks a lot slower than you think. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And and I tell myself all the time, like, these last few weeks, that it's been nice and we're quarantined and everything. I told myself, I was like, dude, if I had my own plane and I had a license, I'd be flying every day. Every day I'd be up there. Oh my
I
God.
learned that
So
those little prop planes are like maybe close to like $10,000 to $12,000.
they're not. I've actually looked this stuff up one day. I was just sitting here daydreaming. So I said to myself, how much would it cost if I had my own plane and my own hangar? So planes, yeah, you can get a plane for relatively on the cheap side comparatively. Hangars though,
Like
those are
having a space for it.
yeah, those are like seven figures easy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, because I was looking at it, and yeah, there were some actually right here down here in Chandler that I found this really nice one that was I think it hit eight figures even. I think it was like over 10 million for one hangar. I was like, jeez.
Just to park your plane.
Yeah, well, it was a really nice hangar though. This thing was huge. So like it wasn't just so it had the hangar portion, but it also had like an office space and it had a gym space. And I was like, see, I would get that. That's what I would spend 10 million on because I would live there. And then I would because there was a bathroom there, there was a place where I could put a bed, there was a gym. I'm like everything I would ever need would be in that building. So yeah.
You can
But
even rent it back for like other guys who fly private and
yeah,
stuff like that, which
that's
you
true.
probably pay that off real fucking quick.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely.
That'd be
So,
cool Airbnb to stay in, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Just stay in a hangar bay. That'd be chill
right.
as fuck, dude.
I know,
Yeah.
dude.
Just
Seriously.
playing pool next to a prop plane.
See, that's what I would do, man. See, that's what I was. I was like, just I had this thought in my head. I was like, what would I do with that space? Because honestly, I would only have like one plane. Like, I wouldn't be like this huge collector, and I wouldn't need all that space. So I said, what else could I use this space for? I said, oh, cars. I like cars too. So I was like all over the place. I was like, dude, I could have like a nice little selection of cars. I could have my plane. I could have like a nice little. I put in a little mat so I could practice my jujitsu. And I called Johnny. I'm like, Johnny, come on, let's go roll, man. Like just right here, man.
It's amazing the lifestyle we create for ourselves on the internet.
Oh man, it's
You know what I
so.
mean? Just
Oh yeah.
that's such a deadly place for me to be at. Because when I'm doing that, I'm like, okay, how do I get all this money right now? How do I do this? Okay,
Yes,
what's the
yes.
easiest way to make money? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's just it's a tough position because then I'll just like naturally go into the state of like, oh fuck, I'm not where I want to be in life, and like, oh fuck, like I need to work harder, and oh fuck, and oh fuck, and oh fuck,
Right.
all this
Yeah.
stuff. But
hmm
you know, in time, you'll get your $10 million hangar bay, Josh. No
Oh
worries.
God, I hope so. God, I hope so, man. I really do. Oh, I do have to tell you this. I've got really, really good news. Really amazing news. So, I'm pretty sure I told you, but I was telling you and then probably some of the other guys that I had to watch my what I was eating. I actually did have to change a diet because I had high cholesterol. So I don't know if I told you this. I know I told like a
I
couple
did
other
not know that, bro.
yeah, so I had high cholesterol. So they have like these number ranges, and the highest they like to see it at is 200. So 200 is very high. Last year when I got tested, mine was like at 204.
Damn.
And I said, "You got to be kidding me! You've got to be kidding me! Not me, not this guy! Like, come on!" So I had the high cholesterol, but I also had high triglycerides. My triglycerides were also somewhere in the triple digits.
Aren't those
So
good though?
no, so see, I didn't even know what they were, but they if they're high, it means it's either due to high sugar or alcohol intake. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I can definitely attest to at least one of those. So
What does it mean by high intake? Like on the daily, you're taking in X amount of like.
unfortunately, they didn't have like a number. They didn't say that if you're drinking this much alcohol or if you're intaking this much sugar, then this is what's going to happen to your triglycerides. They just said
Mm,
that you probably are above average on your intake of sugar and alcohol. So I I and once they said that, that was like the second time they told me that, within at least a year time span. So it was last summer where I finally said, all right, I'm changing my diet for real this time, because I don't want to have high cholesterol. My blood, my blood pressure was fine, but it was my cholesterol that was really high. So I got rid of eggs and bacon in the morning. Any kind of butter I got rid of. I started watching my dairy. So like a lot of dairy products, they have a lot of fat in them. So anything dairy, I try to cut out. I drastically cut down my drinking. I stopped buying and bringing it to the house. Like I would know sometimes.
Dude,
I
that's
got a little
that's a
bit.
dangerous game, man. Yeah,
It
I
is.
cannot have alcohol at the house because it goes by super fucking quick. I
Oh God.
almost do it on purpose just so I can get rid of it, so I don't have it in the house. That's the same
Like,
thing with like
yeah.
sweets and shit. Like Oreos, like gone in 2 days, easy. Like
Right,
I
dude. That
don't
was
even allow them to last a month or something like that. Like it's just like,
exactly.
all right, gone in 3 days. All right, now the junk's gone. You know, it's a
Yeah.
like a way
Yeah.
to validate myself, like, oh, I eat healthy or some shit like that.
Yeah, no, that was mine too. My I would always have those double stuffed Oreos, man. And so I cut that out too, man. I said, all right, no
Nice,
more
bro.
Oreos, none of this stuff. So, and I stopped eating out. All of the food that I ate was stuff that I cooked. I went online and I tried to find as much recipes as I could that at least didn't have a lot of oil, didn't have a lot of butter and all this stuff.
Nice, bro.
So I did that
How
for
are
a
you
year.
feeling?
I was good, and the weird thing was when I had high cholesterol, I didn't feel like lazy. It's not like I felt any different. Um, but the weird thing was I did lower it, and here was the good news. So after a year, I knew the year was coming around. So I was like, I want to see where I'm at. So I called the VA myself, and I said, hey, I want to come in and I want to do my labs. And they're like, oh, well, it's not your year thing. I was like, I don't care. I want to come in. I
Yeah.
want to check. So I came
This is
in
my
and
health.
exactly. So so I did my labs and I got the results back. And my cholesterol going from a 204 is now at a 145.
Damn,
I
bro.
was like, hell yeah.
That's
Hell yeah.
insane, man. That's a
I was
huge fucking drop.
It was. And my triglycerides were down. They were not in the triple digits anymore. I want to say they were in the 80s, somewhere around there. I can't remember. But much better all
That's
around.
amazing, man. Good stuff, Josh.
I was stoked. I got that. And they send you it in like a little paper thing, right? They send it
Right,
to you in the mail.
right.
And I saw a little thing, the VA thing, and I was like, oh, what is this, right? And I opened it up, and it's like, oh, these are my results. And I looked at it, bro. I screamed so loud. I was like, yes, yes. I'm not gonna
Live
lie.
another day. Yeah.
Exactly. I went out and I bought pizza just to celebrate.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
That reminds me of I don't know who said this quote, but it says let food be thy medicine. And like that
Mm,
example that you had is a very
mhm.
very it aligns with it. So
Right.
um
Yeah.
it's true, man. It really is true. The way that I feel when I eat pizza compared to when I eat some like chicken pasta or something like that,
Right.
you know,
Right.
completely fucking different. Completely different.
I
It's
hear
very
that, man.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's the same too whenever you're active, because there are times where I feel it whenever I'm like just now, you know what I mean, with this quarantine. If I don't get out a lot, like I almost feel like I don't know, like it's strange. Like I get like this weird kind of dizzy feeling. Like I need to be doing something, but I'm just kind of where you're kind of sloughing it around for the most part, and you're like, I just
Yeah,
don't
bro.
feel right. So,
Yep.
and that's another thing I hate about this is I'm starting to get that feeling. I'm like, I really got to get outside. I got to do something.
Right.
So,
And that could be where that routine may help you out.
yeah, absolutely, man. Any kind of routine, and you know what the thing is too is it's strange. Like I think this, I mean, this whole coronavirus thing, I think it's teaching us a lot about so many different things. Like, first of all, clearly as a society, we weren't ready for it. Clearly not. Bill Gates called it too. You have to look up TED Talk. Bill Gates on epidemics and
I've seen
whatnot.
that.
You
Yeah,
saw
I've seen that
that?
on Facebook. Yeah,
That's
it's
so
very.
funny.
Yeah.
I actually saw that before. Like, I want to say like last year I was looking at TED Talks and I was like, oh wow, look at this guy. And a year later, here we are. Um, but I think too with each individual, like what we were just talking about, you know, are we capable of coming up with our own routine? Are we capable of what is life like if life is not normal? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, you've probably seen them too. All these other memes on Facebook, which is perfect whenever they're um, related back to the Joker and how he's talking about how when the
I
chips are
saw that.
down,
Yeah.
these people will eat each other, and I'm like, oh my god, the Joker was
I'm not
right.
crazy. I'm not
Yeah,
crazy. I'm just
yeah,
ahead of the curve. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, that shit's
exactly.
awesome.
It's
It's
so
and it's
crazy, man.
fucking true, man. It is. It's very, very true. When I went grocery shopping, the uh, the first thing that one of the big takeaways I'll have from this experience of the coronavirus is the sense of scarcity, which is the first time that I've felt that in my entire
Oh,
life. Is
yeah.
walking through the grocery stores and seeing limited supplies of goods that I buy on the regular, things that I don't think twice about of being low on. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the store and I need to get blah 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 blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I go to the store and I get blah 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 blah, blah. And I come home and I eat blah 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 blah, blah. And then I go to the store again and get more blah 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 blah, blah. Right? But now
Yeah.
when you go to the store now, it's like, oh fuck, I can't get this because it's not there. Or I'm gonna go get this and I realize that it's not there. And that's a very weird space to be in. It's also
Mm-hmm.
humbling as fuck
Oh
because it's
yeah.
like, dude, like, okay, shit
Yeah.
can change really fucking quickly, and
It
it
can.
has. And it's
It
been
has.
like, dude, it's been a fucking month and some change, and
Yeah.
look where we're at. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've had moments where I'm kind of working out and I'm just sitting there and thinking, like, dude, what in the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
honestly, like the entire, like everything is just shut the fuck down. That
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like, if I would have literally, that's stories. If you would have like shared that with people 2 months prior to anything happening like this, like, oh yeah, in April, Mountainside's not gonna be operating anymore. You know that, right? Dude, shut
Yeah.
the fuck. Hey, you know
Yeah.
that the entire economy is just gonna stop working? No one's
Yeah.
gonna work. Everybody's gonna be working from home in 2 months. Dude,
Right.
we are. What the hell are you talking about? Now
Mm-hmm.
it's like we're sitting in this reality,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird to almost normalize it because it's
Yeah.
almost like this state of denial of like, no, this isn't really going on, but
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
bizarre. It really
crazy.
is.
Yeah,
Like, I can't. Yeah, it's just. I think the realization hit too, because I've only just been reading. You know what I mean? Just on the phone, looking at whatever the news tells me.
right.
Um, whatever the internet tells me. And I'm hearing about all these places. Like, oh, everybody's stocking up on toilet paper. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then it was about a couple weeks ago, uh, where no, it was probably longer than that. Where I go out, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna, like you're saying, I just want to pick up a few things. I go to the store, and there's literally no chicken. It's
Yeah,
gone, and my jaw hits the floor. I was like, no way. Oh my god. And like just like you were saying, it changed that quickly, and I naively thought, I was like, nah, this ain't going, it's, come on, whatever.
this is a
And
fluke thing. Like, it's not
exactly,
happening. Like, right.
right. So it's just so I immediately, I call my brother. I'm like, dude, we need to divide and conquer here. All right, I'm at this store. I'm gonna go to another one after. I need you to go to another store, see if you can find some chicken. I was like, that's what we need, bro. So, God, it was so bizarre and so surreal. Um, but now, you just kind of look at it and, like you were saying, this reality. So, because what was it, just the other day, yesterday or the day before, the death toll here in the U.S. finally hit over 10,000. I didn't think it was going to get that high. I was like, I mean, come on, this isn't that bad. 10,000 people in the U.S. alone. Worldwide cases are at over 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like, wow, okay, well.
Once you start seeing higher and higher numbers, it kind of gets more and more like personal in a way. You know, it's like, oh, okay, like, all right, these numbers are starting to hit me a little bit, which is a weird fucking. It's almost like a very unempathetic way to look at things. It's like, if it's like 10, 15,000, like, worldwide, not even that big of a deal. 9,000 people have died, not that big of a deal. Once it starts getting into double digit, triple digits, you're like, oh, okay. All right, this is a little more serious than I initially thought, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of, I mean, it happens. That happens with everybody in anything. You know, it's like one of those. Well, if it's not affecting me, then we don't worry about it. We don't put it on the forefront of our minds, unless again we get to feel the reality of it.
Once it gets close to us, right?
Yeah, once it hits home, that's when we're like, oh, okay. Now we understand the gravity of the situation.
Now it's on our radar. Now we need to start focusing and kind of planning. And that's like the grocery stores, that sense of scarcity, like, oh, fuck, this is happening to me too. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the crazy thing is a lot of the times I'm just sitting around. I'm like, I just want to be social again, everybody. All right, I'm tired of being grounded. I want to come out of my room, you know, like it's just nuts, man. So, but at the same time, you gotta kind of have to like put it into perspective, I guess. So
you gotta think long term. Yeah, they have to think long term, dude, and that's also something that we're also learning too. And if people choose to learn it, I think I will make that huge distinction: is the temporary sacrifice for the long term benefit. Right. Yeah. Right now, the temporary sacrifice is us quarantining ourselves, making sure that the disease does not affect us. Therefore, we won't pass it on anybody else and keep the cycle going. So for the long term, we can give our researchers and science enough time to figure out, hey, all right, what the fuck's going on? How can we essentially cure this and find like a vaccine for it? Just so we can continue to have the world that we live in and the world that we've been so accustomed to, which we thought was concrete, which clearly it's not. We're very susceptible to it being fucked over. So we can start getting back to that position to where we can start thriving again. Because essentially, dude, we really do fucking thrive. Like this is really, like, I've already had an interest in bow hunting, but I really am thinking this could be an opportunity to really get good at it. You know what I'm saying? I even looked up like hunting in Arizona. Where's the best places to go? You know, what's the kind of game that I can get? But I need a fucking freezer, or else it's gonna be a waste of time.
Exactly. And, you need a big one. One of those big, huge ones that go outside.
Because people talk about, dude, they're like, yeah, I got hunted one elk this year. One fucking elk. Family of 5, family of 6, good for the whole year. It's like, what the hell? One person? 2 people? You're good for fucking 2 years, dude. Like, especially if you're not eating it that much. But anyway, a little bit of a tangent. But the point that I was making there is that we are experiencing, and if we choose to experience it, the importance of temporary sacrifice for the long-term gain, which is exactly what this virus is teaching us as a world as well as a nation.
Hopefully. I mean, that's
it can teach us.
You can, yeah. Well, and that's another funny thing too about just lessons in general. Once you go through something, there's something to be learned, but people can also not learn it. So the thing is can we learn from this? And we have the ability to, but I guess we'll see. We'll find out. But did you see I'm sure you have, but the captain from the Theodore Roosevelt that got
props
fired.
To that motherfucker, dude. Props to that motherfucker.
I was reading something. I don't have it here anymore.
Based off the information, I'll give him props that I know.
Yeah.
Give him props.
The acting Secretary of the Navy. I forget his name. Like I said, I was reading this
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, dude, I saw that.
Did you see this? So
Called him fucking stupid or some shit like that,
he
right?
did. He literally said that. He ripped into the entire crew for cheering him for leaving.
Secretary of the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the president of the fucking company being like, "Oh, this manager's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Don't look good for the troops, man.
All
That's not
right.
good for camaraderie." Yeah.
So what he was saying, what actually it made sense. So from the UCMJ side of things,
Mm-hmm.
um, yes, there's validity in the firing of him, if we want to be technical.
Because he didn't follow direct orders, XYZ.
Yes, and plus, you know how the military is with talking to the media. Not that he did. I know that he didn't. There's right now the speculation is that whatever this memo or letter was, it got leaked. Like there's no. Here's where they don't have a case. Is there was, to my knowledge, um, there's no evidence supporting the claim that the captain himself leaked whatever he wrote to the higher command. Um, However, nevertheless, there is validity in what the Navy did. Was it still fucked up? Yes, I think it was. Um, so that
Fucked
side
up
of the
to
art,
fire him.
yeah, to fire him, yes, that's kind of like, all right. But what I also think is fucked up is what the Secretary of the Navy told the Theodore Roosevelt crew. Because as former enlisted on a boat, um, you just, if you want, I understand where he's coming from. Like upper chain of command, you got to tell people to keep doing their job because he also sees the big picture. So this is what I'll say about his side of the argument is that by having the Theodore Roosevelt in Guam right now, because that's where they're at, that's where they're getting tested at. The whole crew's getting tested in Guam right now. But Guam is not a big place. It's pretty small. And when you get an added 5,000 people there, just all of a sudden, if you're just looking at things logistically, that doesn't exactly help people in Guam. So looking at things with big picture, I can understand why he'd be kind of upset. However, again, um, the way the crew sees it is that he was looking out for them. And as a crew member, you like to see that. You like to hear that your chain of command has your back when something like this goes down. When
That's what I see it as too.
Yeah, you got a captain that's willing to tell his chain of command, listen, we need help. We need to take measures here because there's already so many people on my ship that's infected. We need to do something. So, I mean, it's like I said, I see it from both sides, but I can't help but also think that, you don't just yell at these guys because they're feeling some kind of way about their leadership and their chain of command and their captain. So you don't call them just like their captain stupid. They're not going to respond to that. Sorry, man. I understand that they're ordered to, and they will probably go back and do their job, but they're going to feel some way about you now. They're not going to quite like you so much.
Yeah,
So,
I think I'm missing some information from you. So when you're saying it's that that the crew likes to think that the captain was looking out for their best interest, why do you think? Do you think that he wasn't looking out for their best interest? Do you think that there's
oh no,
more
he was.
involved with it?
Oh
Okay.
no, I think yeah, no. I'm totally on the side of what he
Okay.
did. Yes, absolutely. No. What
Okay.
I I don't know. Like I said, I don't even really know what happened with the letters being leaked to the media. Apparently, it got leaked to some. It was a newspaper in I think San Francisco. Um, I don't know how that happened, but I am all for him writing a letter to the chain of command. Um, like I said, I don't know if he did it with intention of getting it leaked, but
Oh, so the captain wrote a letter to the chain of command like, "Hey, we got to
yes,
do something about this." And
yeah.
then information happened to where like the press picked it up essentially.
Somehow the press got a hold
Gotcha.
of it. So,
but it wasn't like directly from him, like email from so and so to yeah.
no, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
like I said, how that happened, I don't know. But I'm totally for with whatever he did. Unfortunately, it just got leaked to the press, and that kind of sucks because consequences thereafter. But yeah, that's interesting. They keep talking about it too. Like I said, I saw that thing with the Secretary of the Navy just yesterday, and then I guess there's other politicians, I guess, that are backing that decision and whatnot. So,
I wonder what context he said the word stupid in, because that's definitely clickbait article, and I should.
It is.
I definitely did not read further into it. I was.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely.
You just read like
was,
you just.
100%. I read I read the headline. I was like, "This fucking asshole." I didn't even decide that. So a little bit immature of me, but. Yeah, I would definitely need to read into that a little bit more. But headlines itself does not look good for him or for the camaraderie of the entire Navy itself, because why the fuck would they want to work for their chain of command? And the SecNav, believe it or not, is a fucking chain of command for them. So why the hell would they want to work for him if he's gonna be outing people who are doing the right thing regardless of what the direct order said? Like, dude, that's a health fucking issue. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, that looks so bad on the upper chain of command, because it's like, yo, you have people who not only are they sick, but the government is investing money into that ship, millions and maybe even close to billions of fucking taxpayer dollars to support them in order for them to carry out the mission. And now you're not even backing them when there's a fucking health crisis going on the ship. Like, you guys look terrible right now, dude. Like, condense that into a smaller version of like an actual like company. You know what I'm saying? Like, a company itself was just decided to negate their entire workers, right? On a smaller scale, those people are probably not going to work for that boss anymore. And they're probably going to write a shit ton of Yelp reviews that says, hey, this guy's a piece of shit. Don't have to fucking work for him. Now his business is fucked. But because it's such a high profile government job, which it said it is a federal job, but the fact that it's the military, they think that they can just get away with it. 100%. Look exactly what fucking happened.
I'm sure there's going to be a good amount of reports and whatnot and complaints going to the Attorney General. I have no doubt. After that,
it'll be interesting to see how this continues to transpire. Who gets fired, who doesn't, especially with like essentially sign the paper that says, hey, don't help them out. Yeah, exactly. So, Navy, man. Crazy time to be in there right now, because poor bastards, man. I got buddies who are in Great Lakes right now as RDCs.
Oh, really?
They're on fucking lockdown, bro.
Yeah.
It's funny. One of my buddies I was stationed with in Spain with, he's like, 6-year mark today in the Navy, and 6 years ago I was in boot camp, and today I'm in boot camp. Full fucking circle, dude. Now he's just stuck in boot camp, dude. Like, can you imagine those guys that like joined? Like, all right,
I was
just
gonna
8 weeks. Just 8 weeks and I'll be out of there. Fuck no, dude.
Not anymore.
You're a special breed now.
Exactly. I did read that all of everybody, every single branch and whatever boot camp they're in, they're currently they're held there. So I was like,
E-days, bro.
Dude, I don't miss that.
E-days suck ass, dude. Because there's nothing you can fucking do in there, man. I wonder if they have access to their phones. I wonder if they do, just to like keep in contact with their family and shit.
I was hearing
they should, just for fucking mental health.
Yeah, I was hearing that they were getting pretty loose on that, anyways. Like the last year or some jazz, where all of a sudden they were allowing phones. Period. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Yeah. But
I went to what are they called? Inactive reserve meetings. I went to one in the beginning in January. I got called. Yeah, because I'm in inactive reserve right now. I have like a year and some change left of that. Maybe like close to like just shy under a year.
Oh wow, really?
And, yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, dude. It's amazing how quickly I snap back into that mindset. Like,
right.
As soon as I was standing in line, just waiting to get like paperwork turned in and all that shit, I was just like, dead.
Yeah.
Emotionally dead. Just fucking nothing, right? A little scary place to be in. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're talking about the boot camp, and one of the guys who worked in the Pentagon, I can't remember his exact title, but he said something that literally brought my skin to like a crawling sensation, like chills, anxiety, everything fucking rushed through it when he said that they are ordering the recruits now every time they leave the compartment to slap a sign like they do with the Notre Dame Irish, play like a champion before they go out on the field, right? To slap a sign, slap. I'm serious, bro. To slap a sign that says "Prepare for War." And I was like, "What the fuck, man? Are you serious, dude? Like being being out of the military for so long, a good amount of time, 3+ years, and hearing you say that, like it's such an archaic thing. I don't know why we fucking continue this mindset, bro. Like this is what I mean. It's the Navy's just the government, in regards to like the military branches, especially. It's so archaic in how they operate with things, man. And slowly but surely, like we're getting a more, like a libertarian perspective or like approach to it. Now, I'm not saying I'm bipartisan, dude. I don't have any fucking skin in the game with conservatives or liberals. I don't.
Right.
I'm more focused on just like the broader picture of, okay, is shit working? How can we make things better? Type deal, right? How and what things do we not change? So, but in regards to how like they keep things running, from my understanding and from when I was in, it was just like, especially the leadership, in terms of just throwing information down your throat until the new leader comes along, and they throw information down your throat and you're supposed to obey an order. All this other shit like that. No critical thinking, nothing. Everything's going to keep continuing to be the same cycle of bullshit over and over and over and over again. And nothing's going to change. And this is where I get frustrated when he says prepare for war. It's like, dude, when the fuck has that ever changed anything? Other than like early World War II, world wars, when that essentially like the war essentially built the economy of what we know today, like got it like started and stuff like that, with like the Industrial Revolution and stuff. Like that helped out a little bit for sure. But still, like mass casualties and stuff. I just think that shit needs to change, man. I don't know how to change it. I'm not a big enough person to.
Really is what it is. It's tough. Like that's a tough one, man. Because
It sounds like everything's just like a threat, though. It's just like
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that kind of. It's just weird. First of all, to me, it's comically funny that they have them slap this sign. I think that's kind of funny, honestly. But I feel like I could write a punchline to that. Like that's how funny I honestly think that is.
It's like a '60s fucking propaganda ad. 100%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so strange because like I said, it's kind of a catch-22, at least in my eyes. Like I understand. In the way I see it, I try to get a glimpse of both sides of it. So I see where they're coming from, this state of being prepared, because there were a lot of times, and we joked about when I was in was, are we really ready for a war? An all-out war. Are we really ready? And I'm not talking with equipment and ships and all that jazz. I'm not talking that. Like we were talking about mentally prepared. Are we really mentally prepared for that? Because we're technologically speaking, even wars are lazy nowadays. Like you just get your UAV up there and just fire your missile. You know what I mean? There's a lot less casualties.
Hand to hand. There's a lot less hand to hand combat for sure.
True. Now there's still casualties. Like I know when we were in Afghanistan and Iraq, there were thousands of deaths. So, but when you put it into perspective of when there were, again, when we fought wars in like Vietnam and even like Korea, going back to World War II, those were the casualties like stacked on when in those wars.
Bro.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is getting down there, but at the same time, just because with our technology, we've been able to save lives, is how they'll put that. I still get weary whenever it comes to anybody suggesting, like when was that Syria? Who was the general guy that got taken out? Was it
Oh
Syria
yeah.
or
No, I
was
don't
it
think it was Syria. Was it Iran?
Iran? That's it. Because we already had loose relations with them. I was deployed over in the Gulf twice because of Iran. So when
And that was
that
back in the
happened,
day. That was like
yeah.
early 2000s.
Uh, so when that happened, what was it? Just this year, I think it was a general. He got killed. Apparently, the U.S. was we were the
Yeah,
ones
we
that were taking
Mhm.
responsibility for it, and I was like, oh, bro, I am so glad I got my IRR letter and saying that I am legitimately out. I'm
So,
like, bro,
dude,
bro.
because when I was going to the IRR meeting, that shit just fucking happened. And I was shitting my fucking pants, dude. I was like, I am not ready to go. I will go
Wow.
to grad school for the rest of my life and not go to that shit, dude. Fuck that. 'Cause I'm a completely okay. I have made some choices in my life that has really got me away from the whole military mindset since I've got out. I've definitely worked on a little bit more of a humanitarian approach, and that's come from a lot of the inner growth within myself, a little bit
Hmm.
more empathy for other people. To the
Sure.
point when I was watching like the CNN and the YouTube videos and all the documentation with the Iran bombing and stuff, when I
Hmm.
would see people just like fighting, I'm thinking like, what the fuck, man? Why? Why are we like? Why do we continually do this?
Right, right,
It's a constant just violence, 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 and it really doesn't do anything. Like especially the
right.
protesters, like guys are just like throwing Molotov cocktails and
Hmm.
hitting barrier doors and fucking throwing bricks. And it's like, dude, you're gonna go home and fucking eat some food afterwards. Like, what the hell did you fucking accomplish?
Hmm.
Nothing, bro. Fucking nothing other than like a headline. Oh, you fucking screamed in front of the camera, like, oh, you're such a protester. You're so pro XYZ. It's like, dude, you're fucking talking. That's all you're doing, man. Like, I don't know why this violence has to be the resort. Because it's, I guess, I understand that it's super fucking easy to go there. It takes a lot of time and effort to talk about shit and talk through stuff where it's
Yeah.
so much easier. And historically, it's still kind of in our genes a little bit for like warfare, especially with like the early 1900s, like the 20th century coming into the 21st century, which you're seeing. And you even said like we're definitely getting a little bit more lazy in regards to warfare. Like
Hmm.
we're starting to kind of disband from that. But there's still that part of us within the system that is just like, fuck them, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
we're
sense of unity, bro, because it's human
yeah.
nature we're talking about here.
It's just tribal instinct. That's all it is. We
100%.
intuitively have we
I can see that.
and even with sports psychology, I'm sure you've touched on this in some of your other psychology classes. Is um, as humans, these heuristics that, and I think you brought up the last time we talked,
Yeah.
was because of these heuristics that we have to have shortcuts. We then intuitively need to categorize everything. We have to put things in boxes. That's just how our brains have to function in order for us to make sense of the world. That's why you have people group up. That's why you have certain groups and things like that. And there's really no reason behind it. It's just that's kind of like the way we work. And I don't think it's ever really going to change. Unfortunately, it's a very bleak outlook on life, but at the same time, I think it's a realization on how humans interact and how we work. Like for example, like you were talking about with talking, like it's so much easier to just start a war, just go and fight. It's easier to fight because there's no thinking behind that. The thinking comes in and then that becomes work. Talking and having a conversation becomes work because in order to have a conversation, you have to, a real conversation, I might add, would be where you're listening to a person to actually listen to what they're saying rather than to listen to be ready to respond. And that never
Right.
happens. That never happens. And that's why
It's a
I got
skill.
it is, and that's one of the. I'm actually taking a class on it. Oddly enough, in this it's this conversation part of it, and we're learning. There was a portion of the class where we actually learned how to listen and be comfortable with just sitting there, like in silence if need be. Do you know what I mean?
I
So
do know what you mean. I do.
yeah,
Like, that's just a caveat off add to that
yeah,
just
yeah.
temporarily because I don't want to like ruin your train of thought.
No,
But
yeah.
the in the counseling skills class that I took my very first quarter, they talk about the use of silence inside of conversations when you're talking with athletes or talking with people who are talking about their emotions and stuff, and how silence could be
Yeah.
such a powerful tool because people can be very uncomfortable inside of silence.
Oh
So you
yeah.
use silence as a way for them to continue to talk. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So if
yeah.
it's like you're talking to me and you like say something like, "Well, that's what I think," and I just sit here like this, and then you just like, "Okay, well," and then you continue to talk. It's like a natural instinct to fill the silence because people are
It
not
is.
comfortable. Which is exactly
Yep.
what you're learning, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to talking, and I don't know about you, I've also become more aware of the political spectrum also since I've been out of the Navy. When I was in, I would only ever watch the news because, well, all right, I'm being deployed. Where am I going? All right, what's going on over there? Now I look at it and I've got this different lens to look at it from. And like, so I was paying attention last year to all these new Democratic front runners. And of the ones when it was like 20 people up there on those debate stages, I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of people. Of the people that I kind of was really rooting for was, I didn't mind, Andrew Yang was pretty cool. He had some interesting ideas.
Yeah,
Um, but I
automated
was,
trucking.
yeah, yeah, right. But I also liked, and oddly enough, my brother did too. We were both kind of liking Tulsi Gabbard because
Ever
she's a
heard of
veteran.
him? She? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So she's a veteran, and she's a congresswoman of 6 years. So she's actually gone on deployment twice. I think it was in Iraq, back in like '03 or some jazz.
Sounds like that character from House of Cards. You ever watch House of Cards?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which one?
There's a so she was, I want to say she might have been like a in the army. I can't remember what her rank was, but she comes in, she kind of has that little fling with um Kevin Spacey's character's like bodyguard assistant type deal, the black guy. I can't remember his character name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he and
That's
her
early
kind of had
on.
yeah,
Yeah,
he and
that's
her
early
had
on.
something going on for a little bit. She was like a
Yeah, I know what you're
ex
talking about.
military person. Anyways, continue. So
Yeah,
her name's Gabbard, you said?
Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look
Okay.
her up, man. So she came in and she had the idea of getting all of our people out of these countries. She called them regime change wars. She said it a lot. Like she was on Joe Rogan twice actually,
Nice.
and she was accused of, first of all, of being a Russian asset. Apparently, this came out very nonchalantly from none other than Hillary Clinton. She was on some
She
podcast.
must be a Republican.
And the reason why is because uh, she went and she talked to some regime guy over in the Middle East somewhere. I can't remember his name. He's some kind of dictator. He's known to like kill his own people. I forget his name. And she is one of those people that went over to talk to him. And everybody didn't like that because it was a lot like how Trump went to go talk to what's his name over in North Korea.
Right.
Everybody's like, I can't believe he's talking to him and blah blah blah. And Fox News did the same thing when Obama went and he talked to somebody. And this is how much I remember, but and a lot of people were like, why did you go talk to this person? Why did you do that? And she's like, isn't it better to talk to our enemies rather than to make war with them? I'm like, God, I freaking love this chick, man. Like, she just makes sense. Like, she doesn't want, like this. There was that whole thing going down with Argentina. Like the people were calling for the U.S. to get involved, to go down there and blah blah blah. And she was like, why? Why? Because you don't like the guy that's in charge down there? Come on. So the world politics of today are extremely convoluted. They're muddy waters. It's not really cut and dry. But I do like the fact that she was trying to get Americans to come back to America. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So she kind of had a message that was similar to what Trump was saying. And this is why Trump took so much crap for getting people out of certain countries where all of a sudden it seems like everything just turned to crap. Um, but she had the same thing, only she was running as a Democrat. And so now everybody in the Democratic Party was like trying to turn on her. And that's when this whole like Russian thing came out. I'm like, come on, man, are you serious?
Isn't
Are
that
you serious?
coincidental?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So,
It's almost
um,
as if she's kind of creating this new world order in a way. Like she's trying to implement this. And I think that could be why politics right now are a little bit convoluted because we have the people who are still currently in office are a little bit older generation, older
mhm,
cohort. They're accustomed to for ways to be run. Now we have the new people coming in who are a little bit um, definitely different, a little bit more accepting in terms of. I mean, look at social media right now. Social media is a very big component, and with kind of promoting the whole be authentic, be yourself. You know,
mhm,
consider other people, communion. This is
right.
like what is attractive now. And so since we have these new people coming into Congress, that's just what I would think, based off of like sitting on the outside, sitting outside and looking from the inside, looking from the outside. I would just think that that is like where that mess is happening is because we have two different cohorts kind of trying to talk shit out. And I think
Yeah.
that the older
Mhm.
cohort is a little overpopulated in terms of that, which is why I think that a new world order based off of Haggard, I believe that's what her name was,
Gabbard.
she could
Gabbard.
Gabbard,
Yeah.
Zach Gabbard could kind of start that conversation for why don't we just talk to our enemies, which is like what
Right.
Trump did.
Yeah, and unfortunately she's out now. It's just Biden and Bernie now. But I
She'll be
mean, we'll see.
back.
Hopefully, we'll see. I liked her anyways. She was picking up some traction. Had some steam going, but yeah, eventually, because because again, this is how much I got kind of invested in. I just wanted to kind of do my own research, just to see what was happening and like how is it that the Democratic Party's doing their thing. And so the way it happens is you've got delegates and then super delegates. And if I remember reading this correctly, you have to get a certain percentage of each vote or a certain percentage of the vote in each state to get any kind of delegate. And you have to have so many delegates to win the primaries that are going on right now in order to go to the general election to be the nominee for president. If there's ever a tie between the maybe two top runners with the delegates, the super delegates then vote on who they want to be the front runner. And I'm like, well, what's a super delegate and who are they?
Right.
A super delegate, and it's only the Democratic Party. The Republican Party, they don't have anything like this. It's only the Democratic Party.
Really?
Yes. So the
Huh.
Democratic Party with these super delegates, it's essentially any former president. So any Democrat. So Obama is a super delegate. Um, any like heads of state kind of thing, like members of Congress, you have to be like really high up there, some kind of thing. Those are like your super delegates, and they vote on who wants to then be. And this is in the event of a tie. I'm like, that sounds dumb. Like essentially, then the people who vote for these guys, their votes essentially don't matter because they come down to these other people who vote. Like that's
See, that's interesting because I
ridiculous.
didn't know that because that sounds a lot like how the electoral college works. Is that the
Eh,
popular vote doesn't
kinda.
necessarily fucking matter
Yeah.
because the electoral college it was it like 55 people I believe in the electoral college that decide whether or not who the president's going to be. Like Donald Trump lost a popular vote,
He
George
did.
Bush lost the popular vote. You know what I mean? It's like, but those guys decided that they were going to be president.
Well, the way the electoral college works is each state represents so many electoral votes. So that's why whenever you see presidents campaign, you'll only really see them hit so many states. Like California and Texas are two big ones. You'll hear a lot about Ohio, Pennsylvania, Iowa is another big one, and I think Michigan. So Florida, obviously, as well. As for those of you who are alive in 2000 and remember that debacle, I know I do. You don't?
No, dude, I was 6 years old.
You were 6? Okay, well, let me tell you about the year 2000. In the year 2000. Okay, this is you're not gonna know this reference. Do you ever watch? Do you ever watch Conan O'Brien, like back in the day, way back in the day, like before he? So he had his own show. It used to be Jay Leno, and right after him was a Late Show with Conan O'Brien. And every now and then they would have a little skit where they have all the lights off, and Conan would have like a little flashlight coming up, like showing all like spooky light, and there would be a little and the whole bit was in the year 2000. And so you'd have this guy saying in the year 2000, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. Anyways, in the year 2000, technically I guess it was 1999 going into 2000. The 2000 election, it was George Bush and Al Gore. And I've actually been doing kind of research on this myself a little bit recently. So Bush, like you said, he lost the popular vote, but he didn't lose it by a lot. It wasn't, God, I can't remember what it was. It was nearly 50-50 is what it came down to. But he won the Electoral College, which means he got the presidency. Now, the way that worked was the last state to turn in its, like the votes was the state of Florida. And the race was so tight that whoever was going to win this state was going to win the presidency. They were going to be in. So the night came and went. The next morning, the votes still weren't counted. And everybody was like, what the heck's going on? So whenever it was just too close to call. Like there was one point where they were separated by like 150 votes. That's it. So what had happened was there was they implemented a new like voting card, and people were confused by it. Like the way it looked like they were voting for Al Gore, but they ended up voting for like some other person. It wasn't even George Bush. Apparently, this was within the realm of 3,000 to 3,500 votes that went to this some other third party guy when everybody thought they were voting for Al Gore, like just the way it was lined up. And so there was another so they recounted everything. And I think they ended up recounting 2, maybe 3 times. And when they were finally recounting for the 3rd time, the campaign for Bush ended up going to the Supreme Court because the Florida Supreme Court ordered this whole new recount thing. So they went to the United States Supreme Court and they said, hey, we want you to like basically stop and halt this. And so the Supreme Court they ruled in favor of the Bush campaign, saying that there was the recount was some kind of against some bill or whatever that was passed. I can't remember the name of it. And so they halted all recounting. And so Florida went to Bush. And so he won the presidency. And the absolute shitstorm that followed was, I want to say 2016 rivaled that. So if you were here for 2016, think of 2016 election and the absolute chaos that abounded after the fact that Trump got elected. It was similar to that back in 2000.
Like a state of shock.
Yeah.
And like weird disbelief. You know what I mean?
Yes, but in the sense that it was because of the way it happened. Not so much the result, but also the way it happened. Because it was this state came down to who was going to be the president. It was so bad, Al Gore, throughout this whole process, actually called Bush to secede to him say, hey, congratulations on being the president. And then when it came back when they were recounting, he recalled him and said, well, I guess I'm recounting what I just said. And then he had to call him a third time. Okay, I guess you really did win. It was bizarre, man. It was so dumb. It was so crazy. So, yeah, man. I feel like I was going on. There's a point to that after, but I lost it. But yeah, anyways, that was the 2000 election with Bush v. Gore.
I did not know that.
Good stuff, man. Look up on that. It's crazy.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, like how the 2016 election, and now that I now understand how the 2000 election works, with the whole like Facebook thing and the data shit and data tracking and pushing ads towards certain cohorts or locations to favor one party or the other type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. But your point was for the Electoral College. I thought the Electoral College was like an actual board of people that just decided whether or not they wanted to. I didn't know that it was actual votes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's based off of it's based off of the state's population. So the larger the population, the more electoral votes that you get.
So can somebody lose a state but still win the Electoral College votes? Or is that where the importance of the
that's where it gets. So when you win the state, you get those electoral votes. Yep.
Nice.
So
cool.
It matches with the amount of state representatives. So the House of Representatives, each state has the exact same number of representatives as they do electoral votes. So if I think California has 55, which means California has 55 House representatives. If I remember that's correct.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Okay.
Whereas with the Senate, each state has two senators. One. I think it's two senators.
I think it's two. Yeah.
And then
I think I remember hearing two.
Yeah, and then
this is a perfect example, dude. Of like the nationalists would fail the immigration tests. Like I definitely would fail that shit right now.
Exactly.
But
that's why I kind of joke about it. I'm like, I feel like immigrants know more about our government than we do. So
I would be really, I've definitely heard that they are really in-depth tests to get in, which is understandable if you really want to be here that bad. Like, I mean, it's double-edged sword. Like, we're blessed being born here, but still, if they want to come here, then they do have to work for it, apparently.
Yeah, I got a buddy. He had to take that test, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, man, is it as hard as they say it is?" He goes, "Oh yeah, like the whole process and everything." He goes, "Dude, it is
years, man.
It's intense." I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah.
Lucky me, I guess.
For sure.
Jeez, man. Wow.
All right, bro. I'm gonna go get some. I'm gonna make some food and stuff like that.
You got food to make?
Yeah. I get a time schedule.
All right, man. Oh, that's right. Routine. We got to stick to routine, everybody.
Got to stick to routine. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you doing this, man. This was Skype, by the way, everybody. We're keeping our social distance. I just want to let everybody know that. So.
Virtual high five.
Yeah. All right. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you later, bud.
All right, brother. Sounds good, man. Be safe now.
Later.
All right. Later.